All right, Rick on the Kenwood again. First of all, the magic light bulb. Here's the light bulb, and you can see it's like on a 5-inch long piece of wire. So everybody who commented, oh, it must be for stabilizing an oscillator, intensity, amplitude, blah, 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 blah. If you were going to do that in a circuit, you wouldn't put it on a 5-inch piece of wire. So that's your first clue that, yeah, that's not a good guess. Because it can reach the front panel from where it plugs into, you would imagine that it's an indicator. And it goes in here on this connector, which is not marked on this board, but it's between connectors 28, 29, and 30. It's midway between those connectors. So that's kind of a giveaway also, is why is it an unmarked connector? It's also by the CW filter that's not there, so that's kind of interesting. Yeah, what does the magic light bulb do? So I have my schematics up here, and I know you're not going to be able to see this. Can you see it? Maybe you can see it. But up here is the IF unit, which it plugs into, and it plugs into that connector right there, which is unmarked. Here's J28, 29, 30, and it's unmarked. So it goes in right there. And there's nothing there on the schematic. Nothing is supposed to be connected to that connector. So it's marked CW SSB. That's interesting. And this connector here is marked SSB SSB. And they're right next to each other. So we need to look at the schematic for the IF unit, which happens to be right over here. So let's see here. Let's zoom in here. So here is these two connectors side by side. One's used, one's not used, or one has an LED, one has a light bulb in it. So what does this connector do? Well, both of these wire in down here, and they wire into the two filters. Well, what do they do? Well, they supply a voltage here and here. And there's a diode here and here. It's diode switching. So as you change from CW to SSB, you want the signal to either go through the SSB filter or go through the CW filter. Change a little bit here. You either want it to go this way or you want it to go that way. And so you energize one of those lines, and it puts a DC voltage here, which forward biases the diode, and it conducts. Or you forward bias this diode, and it conducts. So in my radio, I don't have a CW filter. So you want to have this filter on all the time because it's the only one you got. So there's also some diode switching up here, and there's some funny notations on the schematic here. Somebody has hand drawn in some things here. So I think what happens is if you have the CW filter option, you have to change these things a bit. Otherwise, it just keeps the SSB filter on all the time. And it doesn't explain exactly what that light bulb does. I believe the light bulb is there on a different model. If you have the CW filter installed, this light bulb comes on whether you're in CW mode or it doesn't. You take this out of the radio, the radio functions exactly the same. This is no longer required. I'm not going to put it back. Well, I'll probably put it back in the radio, but it doesn't do anything. It does not do anything. It might if you have the CW, I don't know. It doesn't make any sense. But anyway, that was what that was. So anyway, mystery solved. I think it's just an indicator for CW mode, but who knows where it used to go in a front panel, whether you have to drill a hole. I don't know. Anyway, it's there. In troubleshooting this part of the circuit, though, I noticed I forgot one capacitor. This capacitor does not have a blue Sharpie on top. And it is an Elma capacitor, not a Nichicon capacitor. So I need to pull this board out again and redo that capacitor. Unfortunately, pull all these connectors out now. Oh, come on. Oh. Yeah. Oh, I didn't need to take that one out. That one goes on the front panel. Put that one back in. I need to take this one out. Anyway, don't pull on the wires. Not good to pull on the wires. Pull on the connector. I use these hemostats to pull on the connector. There's a lot of connectors on this board. You can do it. There we go. All right. Take some screws out here. Oops. Oh, that was longer. Oh, I know. Yeah, that one. This one has longs and shorts. Yes, it does. All right, I got one down here. Probably another long. He won't come out. All right. I use my hemostats again. I get a lot of use out of these hemostats. Woo! That one just jumped out. And I need to get this one out. And I think we are good to go. Let's slide this out. Oh, I've got one connector left. Like I said, this board has a lot of connectors on it. Oh, come on. You can do it. There we go. All right, we got the board out. It's got a big relay on here. Interesting. What's that big relay do? I haven't really looked at the schematic. Big relay on the board. I don't know what it does. I don't know what it does. But yeah, we need to get that guy out. What is he? I don't know. We need to get him out of there. I did replace everybody else, right? Yeah. Cute little transistor down over there. Looks very high frequency. All right. Well, anyway, let's get the solder sucker out. I don't think I need to get out my soldering tool. It's just one capacitor. All right. Where is he? He's right here. Done. Let's see if he's wiggly loose. Yes, he is. Oh, there he goes. Come on out. Put him back in. Use the forceps. Use the force. Use the force. So I need a 10 microfarad, 16 volt. Let me find one of those. All right, let's put him back right there. Put a little blue Sharpie on him, so I know I replaced that guy. All right, this board's good to go, so let's put it back in. All right. Lift up these wires. Goes underneath. And lift up these wires. There we go. Okay. Let's put some screws back in. Whoop. Oops. It's always the last one that doesn't want to go in. This little wire's in the way. All right, so I always put in all of the screws real loose first in case I have to move the board around. And now that all the screws are in, I'll tighten them down. All right, so really everything's cut to length, so it's pretty hard to go wrong. All the connectors are marked though. They do have writing on them in case you do get lost, but they're usually different sizes and they go different places. Get started right. Little wires in the way. All right. I think that's it. That one, that one, that one, that one, that one, that one. That one's the LED, the light bulb. This is back on. Yeah, everything's back on and together. All right, let's turn on, make sure I didn't break anything. Put on its edge here. And let's turn it on. And nothing magic happened. It's the display's not lighting up today, so nothing's coming out of the PLL as before. It may work after it warms up, I don't know. But we did find a capacitor that needed replacing. And we figured out what the light bulb was, so a little bit of progress today. And in case anybody was wondering, was this capacitor really necessary to take out or not? I measured it, and microfarad wise, it was 10 microfarads, but ESR wise, it was up around 3 ohms, which is fairly high for this capacitor. So yeah, I think it was a bit weak, so I don't mind replacing it.